Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Weekman. We are here with the University of Arkansas Bass Club. Tell you what, a couple of guys have been here before, and we got one new one. So we're gonna break it out. We're gonna talk to them about their season, sponsors, favorite lures, things like that, how they got started. We'll start with you, Hunter, because you're right here next to me.
There we go.
Tell us a little bit. Tell us about the club. How do you join? How do you become?
So we had a meeting a couple weeks ago on campus, just inviting everybody out. Anybody that wants to fish, anybody that's interested in fishing on the bass fishing team, and then we get emails all the time from kids that are, whether they're coming to school next year or they're already at school, that are asking about the fishing team. So there's just a lot of different opportunities that you can have to figure out about the bass fishing team. We've got all of our socials and everything that people reach us by. So
right, male and female on your
female,
teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
We've had a couple females join this year that are.
Okay.
I think they're pretty excited about it. So
there you go. How do you know if they're a boater or non-boater in this thing?
So we asked them at our first meeting. We had a meeting. What was that? Last Tuesday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we asked everybody. I think we had 9 or 10 new boats coming in. So
new.
That'll put us at, right around 12, 13 boats. So it's just really good. We lost a lot of guys that had boats last year. So
right.
It's pretty good that we got those coming back.
So, Brooks, how did you end up on this team?
It's kind of a funny story. This is my third year on the team. I joined when I was a freshman. I actually missed the table that they had set up in the Union courtyard.
Right.
That first week of school, I had missed it. And a family member that had been working for the university sent me a picture of it later in the day. And I walked up, and there was nobody at the table. So I left my number down on a piece of paper, and I guess somebody grabbed it. Jacob Swerdloff grabbed it.
Oh, Jacob, yeah.
He ended up messaging me, and I messaged him. I didn't think I was I thought it was too late for me. So I sent him this big, long paragraph, and I was promoting myself and saying how bad I wanted to be on the team, and he just sent back, "Oh yeah, no problem, man." So it was funny. It wasn't that big of a deal, but that's how I got on the team, and yeah.
Are you from Arkansas?
Yep, from Huntsville, Arkansas. Same place
Huntsville.
as him. We grew
go.
up together, grew up fishing together.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we've come a long way.
So we'll come back to the team thing. And so you've been a member of the team how long, Mason?
Oh, I'm a senior. This is my fourth year.
Fourth year. And Hunter, I didn't let you say how many years.
This is my third year.
Third year.
Yep.
So you got one more year.
Yep, got one more year.
Wow.
Looking forward to it.
There you go. You got to get through this year first.
That's
though,
right.
don't you?
That's right. Busy year.
So you have a boat, and you're a boater. Tell us a little bit about the tournament. So, like, if people are watching and they don't know how any of that plays out, how do you become a boater and a non-boater, and how you're paired up, and where you're going?
Yeah, so basically anybody that has a boat will obviously be their boater. And as far as our club, we have a lot of kids that will just, ask to be on a team. You can be different. Team trails will have obviously different opportunities for kids. So, I may be with Brooks for one tournament trail, for example, and then I may be with some other person on a tournament. But that's kind of how that works. And then as far as the tournaments go, we've got, I think, 4 different tournament trails that we're running this year. Get there. School.
Are they sponsored by BASS and Major League Fishing?
We've got BASS, MLF, Joe Bass.
Or Collegiate Bass.
Collegiate Bass, that's right.
Collegiate Bass.
And then we had an Arkansas Collegiate Series. This year they decided not to do it, so Joe Bass picked up a
up in Missouri.
Trail. Yep.
Yeah.
And so
good circuit.
Yep. So they'll have a couple of collegiate tournaments this year for us to
really?
fish, so.
And those will be just like right there in Missouri, Bull Shoals, Table Rock.
Yeah,
maybe?
we have the first one's actually October 7th on Dardanelle.
Those are the Trader Bills.
Yeah, those are the
Trader Bill
Bills.
ones
Yeah,
too.
they do the big team trail out through Arkansas, but
Yeah. So they'll have
plenty of opportunity.
Oh,
what days are these tournaments on?
Typically on Saturdays.
Even during the home game, what happens? Do you how do you watch the game at the same time you're fishing? I know you can with the Lowrance unit. You can actually watch the run 6 panels, and one of the panels you could have, besides having forward-facing technology, you could also have that. I guess if you have a big limit
Yeah.
already, you could just kick back,
Yeah.
watch the game.
Sure would be nice.
He knows better than anybody that I'll have that game pulled up.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time we're fishing.
Last year, Dardanelle, we had a tournament going on same time as a game, and we watched that whole game. Had it on the deck of the boat. Had our phone on the deck of the boat.
Fish don't care about sound, do they? No. That type of sound, outside sound, but sound that has to do with your boat and trolling motor. That doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
They're smart.
They're
Real
smart. What have you learned from college fishing? What have you learned? I'll ask each of you. What have you learned that really sticks out in your mind that you didn't learn, like say you were in high school and now you're in college? You're into your 3rd year.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple things. One mainly is slow down fishing. Fishing is not. You see a lot of these professionals that get on TV and they fish fast down the bank. If you're going to get bites in tournaments like that, especially collegiate tournaments, slow down and fish. And then mainly, another thing we've learned is if you don't have electronics, it's kind of tough to run with these guys.
Right.
Electronics play a big part in the fishing world now.
Okay. Brooks, what have you brought into the game? What have you learned from being on these guys and fishing around some of these guys that are the university guys?
For sure. Biggest thing that I've learned is just how the quality of the practices you have affect the day of the tournament a little bit. I mean, you really have to kind of narrow down your practicing. And, me and Hunter, we fished for a long time together in the Booker County Bass Club. We fished.
That's a good club
for
too.
2 years. Yep, it is. Learned a lot in that club too. But when we would go to practices, we just fish. We wouldn't really have a plan, have an idea of what exactly to do. And definitely getting on the collegiate level and fishing with all these guys and being under their wing, you definitely see how much it matters.
Practice matters. Yep. Mason, what do you have to add to this that you've learned, at the university level?
Yeah, so growing up, I was a shallow guy. I mean, I lived and breathed shallow because I knew how to catch them. I knew I was getting 5 bites a day. I'm going to catch them good, but it's just you get up here and you realize, well, you're fishing 230 boat tournaments and you can run the bank all you want. It's just you got 80 other boats fishing the same thing, so you got to really learn how to expand. I've learned a lot of new things, like it's with the forward-facing sonar and stuff like that. Like just sitting back and looking what the fish do. You can sit back now and I can look at these things. I'm like, okay, well they're supposed to be here because I've seen it now. Because stuff like that, it's like you beat your head shallow your entire life, you're going to be fine. But you get into these bigger tournaments and you got to find more than 5 fish a day for 2 days, and it's tough. You got to learn how to adapt and change throughout the tournament.
Let's go into your sponsors. Like sponsors, you have sponsors that are sponsoring your team. You can read them off your shirt, but like who's your big sponsor? Do you have a title sponsor, and then do you have other sponsors? How does that work?
I believe our title sponsors haven't
on this jersey this was from last year. This was Forrest Grin Incorporated. They're a construction firm out of Fort Smith. Some newer ones we've got Bahio has helped out a lot. So
great sunglasses. I should have mine on. I should have worn them for the thing.
I got my Bahios on. So no, it's the normal. We get a lot of college stuff. So but yeah, when it comes to money, I know we had Forrest Grin from last year. I think we got Castle Hills on here as well, mortgage. Other money sponsors, do you guys see anything on?
The IMS relocation.
Yeah, IMS relocation.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's a lot of tackle sponsorships. We'll get lured. Look at Pradco. We had a former member of the team reached out to us through Pradco, so we have them. Trying to think.
G-Crack. We got G-Crack last year. Had another former member hit us up on Instagram about doing a bait sponsorship for that. And then we've actually got a couple of new ones this year that some freshmen have actually from down in Texas have actually hooked up for us. I think we got Dobbins just the other day.
Rods.
And then today he hit me up and said Amped Lithium. We got an Amped Lithium sponsorship. So We're
That
rolling.
works.
We're rolling.
You are rolling,
Pretty
especially with freshmen bringing stuff in.
Yeah,
sure.
that's what the biggest thing is when you got these guys who fish in high school. Like, hey, if you got sponsors and you people you know, bring them. It's
Right.
there's that, and then we're really gonna pick up the pace on Instagram, Facebook, all of that
Right.
this year. Really show our thanks to our sponsors.
Right.
So
A big sponsor that we picked up last year, we forgot to mention, was Fishing Chaos.
Right.
I believe it's a former member that runs that, right? That started that.
Something like that.
Can't remember. Sword found it. Sword had the hookup for us, and
Right.
it's an app that you can kind of host fishing tournaments online. And we really want to utilize that this year to get everybody more involved and not just have the tournament anglers,
Right.
with the only people being involved. But yeah, we hope to utilize that a lot more, and they'll be on our jersey for sure. This new one.
Especially for people don't have boats, I mean, we can host tournaments with, where people can just go fish in ponds or fish in creeks or rivers, and help a lot. More involvement for the bass fishing team. So there's a lot of people that don't have boats. I'd say probably 60% of the team
Right.
doesn't have boats. So be a good way to get them involved in that and the community involved.
So tell us about the event. You're going to go down to Darnell. How does that work? Do you ride down together as a team, or what is that? Are you going to go down Friday and pre-fish? Tell me the layout. What normally happens?
So typically we have to send out a travel request to the university,
Right.
and we'll get approved off for a couple days, depending on how far it is. If it's close, typically just a Friday off. The Friday before the tournament we get off.
we'll get third. Well, in the big tournaments, we make sure we get some
Yeah.
practice in.
Right.
For sure, like the Collegiate Bass Open down at Dardanelle here in a month, we'll have probably 2 or 3 days, off for that. Since it's such a big tournament, there'll be 250 plus boats. It's a 2-day,
Wow.
and it's a free tournament, so it gets a lot more people involved in it,
Right.
So
So you go down before large groups, universities that are fishing in it.
mm-hmm.
Yep. So tell us a little bit more about being on the team. What else happens?
Well, we have our meetings probably once or twice every month where we just
Okay.
get together and hang out and talk about some more potential sponsorships.
Right.
Get on with the jerseys and talk about our upcoming fishing trips and stuff like that. And I know you guys last year even got a group together where they came down here, put in at the 412 bridge and fished for a couple hours. In the evening,
Right.
just to have some fun. See, who could catch some, five keepers or whatever, just
I know you should have came and did the weigh-in, like
Yeah,
on the
sure.
dock,
Sure.
pulled up there.
we'll have to let you know next time.
You'll have to. We'll have to make some sort of gift bag or something for the winter or something, or maybe free cookies.
I'll take cookies.
Yeah, we'll take that any day.
That may be the plun on that right,
right.
there. So that takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time sponsored by Pico Lures. Pico Lures makes hard and soft tackle. You can find them online at picolures.com. Any kind of fish you want to go, bass, walleye, stripers, you name it, they catch them. Also, let's talk about you guys as sponsors. If there's someone out there that wants to sponsor you, how would they get in touch? The important thing to understand is this: it's not a scholarship type thing, is it?
Right.
And so I know that I did a podcast show with Eastern Kentucky University, so they have scholarships. So they give scholarships out, and so they already have some of the stuff paid for. These guys do not have that stuff paid for. So, they're always looking for someone to host them, someone to sponsor them into things. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So one of the big ways to contact us is through our email, which is bassteam@uark.edu. We're constantly on it. We had a change this summer where they restructured it, so we're catching back up a little bit in the summer. We had a little bit of a lag period where no one could access their emails. So that is our best way. That's our best way to contact us, or through Facebook and Instagram, which is
Arkansas Fishing.
Fishing.
Yep. And that'll be we're constantly on those, especially since we had that lag this summer. I've answered plenty of incoming guys and asking, hey, what do we need to do? But for
Right.
like formal stuff, like if you really want to help us out, we are on those, keeping up with it, and we'll be able to answer it. So
Right.
we have
What-
multiple guys on those.
What do you think the biggest challenge is of fishing against other university guys? Because you're kind of the same age bracket now. You're not. I mean, you're past that. Like in high school, obviously, if you're a senior fishing in a high school tournament, you're like in a high school tournament. You're more advanced. You're older. You've been fishing with your dad for a long time, probably, and now you fish with your buddies or stuff for a while, and you have kind of the advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have an advantage over the freshmen. They're just wide eye, like 200 boats. Like where am I going to park?
Yeah.
You know, type thing.
Yeah, it's you definitely learn after those first couple of years. You know, you get over the nerves and everything. You know, you start calming down and figuring out, you know, what you got to do, you know, to go catch fish and stuff in those big tournaments. But I think the main thing that I've seen that's the biggest challenge of, you know, anglers all around in college is, you know, one, for us, you know, we don't have the money, you know, like they do to be able to go fish on a scholarship and stuff. So they get,
Right.
you know, as much sponsorship money as we can get, that's great, you know, but sometimes we won't have enough to, you know, go travel to these tournaments and stuff like that.
Right.
And another thing is some of these guys, you know, go to college in these big areas with these big lakes that we're having the tournaments on. You know, a big struggle we've had the last couple of years is having tournaments, you know, local. You know,
Right.
we have our few tournaments local, and then all the big BASS and MLF tournaments are kind of, you know, off in Alabama, you know, Florida and places like that. So, you know, I'd say just
They're having them on
Adapting.
Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
And Murray's coming over.
Sure.
You know. Yeah.
yeah. So
Not
it's
too
it's
far
just,
away.
It's just learning to adapt. That's the biggest challenge.
And Brooke, what do you think's the best part about being on the team? What do you think's the best thing about it?
For sure, the relationships you make with the other guys. I've had some of the best memories I've ever had fishing with these guys, with Sword and Carter, and all of them. And I can't wait to make more memories with these incoming freshmen. They seem like a great group of guys and girls, and we're looking forward to getting down there October 7th at Dardanelle and getting after it.
Who's the most famous fisherman that you ever been with, Mason?
Let's see. It was actually Dardanelle. My dad was deployed. Is when the Elite Series was in around, and I sat in Livingston Lure's booth, and I got to meet Jacob Porosnik. And,
Wow.
Yep. There's a picture of me somewhere. And
There you go.
But yeah, no, that was probably one of the coolest times. And heck, Dylan Hayes and I have gone hunting.
Right.
So it's cool. I mean, I've got to meet some real cool people. But
There you go. There you have it. So make sure you check them out. Make sure you go to their site. If you want to sign up, you can just get in contact with these guys. Otherwise than that, we're going to sign off. Like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.